Hey LAN party gamers, I'm going to show you some software I've been building as part of sort of a way to get older game servers to newer LANs. And what that service has sort of sprouted from was our intranet site, which we've been using for a year or two now for our LAN-a-thons, as well as the one that we brought to LTX wasn't really doing it. It told people how to get our local game files and how to connect to the servers, but it didn't tell you whether the servers were online. An easy way to download them without having to learn how to do an SMB share, and then all the other restrictions that come with that, like is your Windows passwords blocking it, and Windows versions, are you on a Linux machine, etc. So what we've done is we've created this server software, and this is the website front end. I'll show you that first, and then we'll go into how it works and if you're interested in using it for your LAN parties. But this is what LAN parties, but this is what people would see when they boot into your LAN network. They'd be greeted with a home page just by going to LAN-server in the address bar, and they might say, oh, there's a calendar of events. There's a tournaments and challenges section where I can register for tournaments or sign up for giveaways and raffles, manage my ladder and tournaments, as well as show my own results. Like if I was to lose or win a match, I could automatically confirm my results here and then be placed into the next bracket, assuming the challenger that I played against also confirms their end of the deal. There's a chat section just going across the top here that links to either your Discord, and you can change the link to this, or the locally hosted TeamSpeak. And this link here will automatically launch TeamSpeak with the server's address already typed in. That is something that's done in the backend. It detects the IP address and it puts it in there for us. There's also a very simple forum here on the chat page, as well as the news is on the bottom of every page. At the top, now again, is downloads, and there's two different download folders. There's the games, where we can find the games that we will be playing at LANs that are being hosted, for instance, like World in Conflict, Warcraft 3, Red Alert 2, Jedi Academy, Quake 3, etc., as well as instructions on how to install them. So if we take a look at, let's see here. Let's take a look at Bridge Commander. Tells you to extract the folder, open the options config and change my height and width to match my monitor, and then run the game, etc. So there's very simple instructions right here on the downloads page. But if you're not sure what to download, you might want to check out the servers page. So there's two of them built into the service here, non-Steam servers. It queries all the active servers that are currently being broadcasted on the network from this box. That is the LAN-server box being hosted here on the LAN. And as it queries each one, it'll tell us, oh, TeamSpeak's up, but Quake is not. COD 4 is up, it's running this many max players in this ship, this game mode, etc., etc., etc. So as we go through the list here, we can say, oh man, they've got a Spellbreak server. I knew that game went offline. They actually have a copy of it locally we can play? Well, yes. Here's the game's status, icon, name, server, IP address, how to connect, how many players it can support. Oh, and a download link that I can grab the local client files from. Oh, and how to install them. Look at that. So it's all automated. Now for the Steam servers, this runs a little bit different. This does not query the servers on the network. It simply checks to see if the Team Fortress 2 service is running in Task Manager on the server. And if it is, it puts a little green light here. And then a connect button will actually launch the game for you and connect you directly to it. So a little more simplified on the Steam's page, which is why it is a separate screen. Then we've got register and log in for people being able to create their own account and whatnot. I'll show you the administrative panel on the intranet site here. Make sure we're logged in as an administrator. I am. That's me. and we'll go to the dashboard. The dashboard is all the administrative stuff that you can imagine as far as what will be seen on the front end. For media, if you want to upload an image, here's all the game icons we use to build up our tournaments page, as well as our how to download games page. We use this. All you have to do is drag and drop a file into this screen and it will automatically upload it. It has to be under 4 megabytes though, so bear that in mind. That is to keep people from uploading large icons and stuff for their user icons. And it's only so much of a hard drive space, especially if you're hosting this yourself. Events. This is going to show on the front page anything you put here. So right now we've got testing events authored by administrator, and the date is the September 28th. So if we go to the home page, we can see that is on the calendar page right there, testing events. And this would be either upcoming tournaments, then you would have a link to the tournament on here. It might be when people should get ready to leave, check-in times for different events at the event venue, or if it's something where you can align it with your convention, you might have stuff that's happening at the LAN for the convention also duplicated on here for easy reference. As far as other events, we'll go straight to tournaments and challenges here. Tournamatch is the plugin we're using. This is a WordPress built site, so all this stuff is plugins. And for Tournamatch, the way that it works is you create a game first down here at the bottom left. And I've already completed a bunch of these game creations for you in the built-in version of this ALP. So ALP is Automated LAN Party. So that sort of make what you have to do a little easier. You can sort of follow along with what we've done here. And if you don't see the game here that you're trying to host a tournament for, obviously you can create it. You would upload an icon and a banner image on the media side, and then you would create your game name, the platform, the game thumbnail, and the game banner. And you can either upload an image, as we've done, or you can select it. You would just select it from this media library, which points to where we uploaded it earlier that we showed you up here on the left. Once you have the game you want, like here, Super Smash Brothers, we would go to Tournaments, and we could see all tournaments, or we can add a new one. So if we wanted to do like a Call of Duty 4 tournament, we would say Call of Duty 4 is the game we're playing, bracket size. You want to overestimate for bracket size, because if it hits the maximum, then you can't accept any more players. So you can make it as high as you want, up to 256 attendees, and that can be players or teams. Start date and time. You want this to be a little bit past your expected start date and time. Same day, maybe just so it doesn't cut off any late attendees, unless you want that. Singles and teams. Teams is pretty interesting. People can invite other players to be on their team, but they have to be actively checking their account status here on Tournamatch. If you want, you can just do everything under singles and then treat the host or the captain of the team and only have them register their team as the tournament attendee, basically. And then they would be in charge of the team. Otherwise, the teams are players per team, and then they would have to accept an invite. And because we are not running an SMTP server off of this, because a lot of this is going to be done with that internet, they're not going to get an email when they get a team invite. They'd have to check their Tournamatch page on the Tournaments and Challenges section here under the user dashboard. And then you put your rules in, like how many kills, 25, match time, 10 minutes, etc., etc. And then you would either make it visible if you're ready for people to sign up, or you would hide it just in case you want to show other administrators, hey, does this look good, before you publish it. And then you would just hit create tournament, and it would show up on the tournaments section here as such. Once you've created this tournament, you would want to grab the link for it and put it in the events section, so it shows up in the calendar as well, and then gives people another way to access it. I would also suggest making a post about it. This is sort of like a Twitter post. Here it says welcome to LAN server. That's just the intro post. You could make a post of something to the liking of Call of Duty 4 tournament registrations now open, and the link to the tournament here under the post sections of the administrative area. All right, moving right along. Chat. The only thing that you really need to administrate here is the Discord link. Now, in order to change this is a code snippet, and that is found down here, code snippets. And if we click on that, you will see Discord clickable image. If we edit that, you can change this Discord link here to whatever it is that you guys want to use for Discord. Or if you want to remove it altogether, I guess you could just do that too. And then you would hit update on the top right. If you want to remove it altogether, you would uncheck this active, inactive box here, and then hit update. All right, moving right along. Here's the form. It's a normal web form. You can, if you log in as an administrator, and the administrator login and password is in the documentation for this, you could assign administrator to a user of your own choice, so you could stop logging in as administrator all the time. And then you can moderate the forum here. The giveaways forum here at the bottom is the only other section, and you'll also find that same area under the tournaments and challenges as a create a new post. This is specifically meant for this section of the administrative panel. Let's find it here. Raffle Press. Raffle Press is like Gleam.io. It uses the same idea. So if we take a look at this new giveaway here, you can have different ways to enter. You can have visit a page like this on a social media site, etc., etc. This is a free version, so not everything is going to be available to you. But even if it's a single entry and you just want to count heads, and then whoever is present and using it gets a chance to win a raffle prize, well, then there you go. In order to embed this test raffle, or the one that you're going to create, into your website here, we'll go ahead and set the giveaway date to be starting now. And then we'll go to, these are the different actions you can perform, the free ones: Facebook, like a page, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, tweet, share on Facebook, and visit a page. Not bad for free. And then save it. Now that we've got our raffle or giveaway created, we want to be able to publish that to allow people to get to it. So at the top here, we would go to publish, then we would look for WordPress shortcode, copy the WordPress shortcode, and continue. Now if you're not on this page, you can also find this here. We're going to click on the big X on the top right. Under the giveaway name, you would have embed, and that would also take you to that same page. So with that shortcode copied, we're going to go to the tournaments and challenges page here on the main site, as if you were a user, but logged in as an administrator. And you know you're logged in as an administrator because we have this customized top bar here. If we scroll to the bottom of the page, you'll notice an edit button here on the tournaments and challenges page. If we click that, we'll be brought to this page here. And as we can see, if I refresh the page, it's pretty barren. All right, there's nothing below it. And if we go down here, though, we can click the plus icon below the links. And what we want to do is add a shortcode. All we do is paste that Raffle Press shortcode in, update the page here on the top right, and then we can either click here, view page, or I'll just go back to the tab I was on, hit refresh, and there's our test raffle. And you can have as many of these on a page as you want. They'll show up vertically as you add. If you just click down further, more pluses will show up like this. But you can have as many as you want, and then right here you can raise or lower them in the hierarchy depending on when they're going to happen, things like that. As you make each one, I would create a event for when they start, or possibly another event before they end, something of that nature, outlining the timeline for that raffle. So we can edit our testing events here. We can add our giveaway, which is right here. Here's the giveaway names. There's number 1, same as the shortcode we had, number 1, add giveaway. We can update or save this event. And if we go back to our calendar, here's our event. Oh, and there's the raffle prize right there inside the event. So there's 2 ways people can get to it. They can get to it through the tournaments and challenges link this way, or if they go to the calendar and they see a challenge or a raffle is happening on here, because we would name it as such, they could do it right through there. So 2 ways people can get to it, and that's how I would do it. All right, moving right along. Get out of this. We don't need to save all these empty blocks. Okay, downloads. Now the downloads page here, we were talking a little bit about how we've got all these useful utilities and games. How might you add a game as an administrator? Well, that's going to be a little more intricate. So what we're going to do is actually go into the web server itself, either in the FTP. So if we do FTP LAN server, oh, can't do it in here. We've got to do it on the box itself or in an FTP client like FileZilla. So we're going to switch to a remote desktop client and look at the server itself now. So here we go. Hello again. We're looking at a screenshot of the server itself here. On the server desktop, we've got another shortcut here that says servers with all the different games that are currently installed. In here, there is a website shortcut, and then an htdocs folder. And then in here, we can upload files, and if we want them viewable by the download manager, what we would do is we would create a zip of the game or application that we want to be able to share on the network. And I would put that zip file under WP Content, Uploads, Download Manager's files. And there they all are. So what you would do is you would copy that to here. But that doesn't immediately make it accessible. So let's go back to the front end now as an administrator, at least on the website, and then we will log in to the back end of that website and then go to downloads. So we know that zip is on the server. Okay, so we've copied that zip to the server. Now what we'll do is we'll either add a new game here at the top, or either game, utility, or program, or we can clone one that we've already done. If it's a game, you could just clone a game, or if it's a utility like Java here, we could just hit duplicate. And then that would kind of get you a head start. But we'll just go ahead and look at this one for Command & Conquer Renegade. Now we can see Renegade X has a zip attached to it on the top right, but if it didn't, what we would have to do is select from server here, because remember, we can only drag and drop a 4 megabyte file. It's meant for icons and images. So what we'll do is we'll select from server, as we've already uploaded something, and then we will just go to that file path, WP Content, Uploads, and sometimes it takes a couple of tries here. It is a free software. So WP Content, Uploads, Download Manager files. We'll just let that load for a minute. And here's all the zips that were in that same folder. And we would simply pick the one that pertains to the game or file that we were looking for that we just uploaded earlier. So in this case, it would be renegadex.zip. Click on that, attach selected file, and it will overwrite whatever is there. You can only have the one download. Okay. Then I like to put an icon from some information about this file regarding how to install it, how to connect to it. This WP code insert here just projects a copy of the server's IP address to users. So if we go to games, then Renegade X, you can see it has the local server IP there. That's this WP code. Automatically puts it in there for you, so you're free to use that. And then a little bit about the game or the utility that has been uploaded. But mostly information on how to install and then how to play the game. All right, so that's pretty much it for downloads. What is next here? We talked about servers, non-Steam servers and Steam servers. There is a help file. So if we go to LAN server /help, either on the computer or from a computer connecting to it, you can see there's a help document, and in there you can see how to set up the virtual machine itself, how to add a non-Steam server, how to add a Steam server, and some of the stuff that we've talked about, how to add tournaments, challenges, raffle pass, etc. And let's see here. A quick demo of how that works. We're going to go back to the remote desktop client of the server, and we're going to get out of the downloads page. So we talked about a little bit this shortcut on the desktop that says servers. So I'll go ahead and open that up. In here are all the servers and games that are currently being deployed from the server, either automatically when Windows starts, or if, let's say, one crashes or I need to change a server setting. For instance, our Call of Duty 4 server here. It runs a mod that allows bots to be in the game, but if it's a full server, there's no need for that. That's mostly to encourage people to play and to let them warm up. So if we went into our Call of Duty 4 folder, we would see a couple of options here. Instructions, a no bots version of the game, the standard version of the game with the bots, a server config file, and a bot configuration file. So if we shut the game server down, we could relaunch either one directly from here. And for instance, Quake is currently not running. So if I just double clicked here on Quake 3 Dedicated, it will launch the server automatically. And everything is set up to not conflict as far as port numbers, etc. So they can all run at once, but bear in mind you will need quite the virtual machine. This VM is running, I believe, 24 cores and 64 gigs of RAM. And just sitting here idle with nobody using it, we're looking at just shy of 30 gigs of RAM. So bear that in mind. Now, the way that these launch with Windows, especially on your first boot, this batch file here, launchallservers.bat, runs. And what that does is it looks for games and services that are not running and then starts them. So here you can see it's skipping a lot of games because at the bottom of the screen you can see they're all open. Then at the end it verifies, is the computer powerful enough or has a video card or not to run specific servers like Bridge Commander and Halo Online, which both require a video card of some kind. So it skips those. Then that same script decides, oh, they have more than 20 gigs of RAM. I'll go ahead and launch the Steam servers. And it then will update and then launch the Steam servers in order. Now let's say, well, I don't have 20 gigs of RAM, but there are some Steam servers I'd still like to launch. Well, what you could do is launch steamservers.bat is right here. But if you don't want to launch every Steam service installed on here, we have this program here, Edit Batch Launchers. And if we open that, we can deactivate certain games from launching on startup. Bear in mind, if you don't have 20 gigs of RAM, it's not going to make the Steam games launch automatically. You will still have to run launch steamservers.bat or double-click them from their icon here. But the batch file will run only the ones that have checkboxes on here. So if I want to not run satisfactory, because that's a memory hog, so we're going to uncheck satisfactory. We're going to uncheck update satisfactory. No need to update it if we're never going to play it. And also, we don't play, I don't know, Minecraft, because it is also a memory hog. So we're going to uncheck update Minecraft on the left side, the non-Steam server side. And we're going to look for Minecraft itself, the game, uncheck it. and then we're going to hit save. Now what that does, we can close this, is it edits these two batch files and puts a remark to remove those two from running. So if we look at these two files in Notepad, you can see the REM here for satisfactory and update satisfactory, as well as update Minecraft and launch Minecraft. People don't need to know how to do this themselves unless they want to add games to this list. Now, let's say, oh no, it's not launching a game and we upgraded our server to now have 100 gigs of RAM. Well, shoot, if I go into this edit batch launcher, I don't even see those games here anymore. Oh, crud. Well, there's a reset button at the bottom. So if we hit that, it will rewrite these two batch files, removing those REM commands, and look, all the games are back where they were. And we'll just hit save, and we'll close. So there we go. And we can always double check that those REM lines are removed, and they are. More about these batch files, as well as how to add your own game or Steam game, can be found in the documentation on the help. So that's, if you're on the server, that's localhost/help. And if you're looking at this from another computer on the network, that would just be the name of the server, so LAN-server /help. You might need http:// in front to get to it, and it would be take you to the same help file. Okay. All right, now nitty gritty. How did I use ChatGPT to help me make this? And the primary things that I used ChatGPT for were the batch files and the Python scripts. So if you're interested in how that was used and the utility was used for that, stick with me and we'll write a quick command using ChatGPT to tell whether or not a Call of Duty 4 server is running. And then we'll write that status to a database. And this is a way that we're going to be going forward on the server status page so that it doesn't load as slowly and sort of speed things up, especially if a lot of people are hammering that page at a 500-person LAN or something. We want to read those services maybe once every minute, 2 minutes, see if they're online, see what map they're playing, and then put that on the server status page from a database, and not every time somebody hits the refresh button. So, okay, so we've got a number of Python scripts already saved to the server that have been sort of testing with. So we'll go ahead and start with that. I'm going to go to the server's website, which is pinned www on the left-hand side if you're logged into the server. And then I'm going to go to the Python scripts folder. And here are the ones that we've got so far. We've got a Ghost Recon query, we've got a Quake 3 query, and then we've got a display query, which kind of just shows what they've done so far. So if I go into PowerShell and I type in Python and then one of these queries, there we go. It shows that the Ghost Recon server is online and that it was last updated at 17:05. But if I just closed the Ghost Recon server, and I'll go ahead and rerun it. So we'll rerun Ghost Recon query servers.py. So I'll drag that into here, and I'll run gr query servers. It's going to send a query out to the Ghost Recon server, see if anybody's in it. If nobody's in it, the server status is assumed offline. Then we can look at display query again, and it will show as offline with a new timestamp. Cool. So we're going to do the same thing we did for Quake 3, but for COD 4. Where we're getting the COD 4 code from here is we've got a code snippet from our server status page. Edit. Copy that. So for reference, we've got our Notepad++, we've got where we're saving this to, So we'll copy and we'll do cod for query servers as a new file, and we'll open that in Notepad++. Let's see what ChatGPT thinks when we ask it the impossible. So we will say, I've got another PHP, we'll say I've got a PHP page that queries a COD4 server, then outputs what it finds to a table. I'd like to convert the method it uses to make a new Python script that works the same as our Q3 query servers.py script, which is, I believe, the one we just made. Yes. Creating and saving a table, cod4 game servers. Here's the PHP script to use as the base for the query. And we'll just paste the snippet in. See what happens. So it's thinking, it's generating. To create a Python script that queries the COD servers and saves the MySQL table cod4 game servers, you can adapt the following script. The script is based on the PHP code you provided. Use the same logic as your Python script. So it's got... this might just work out of the box. So because we already made a script that works for Quake 3, the language model understands how to parse the information. Now I'm using the query information from our PHP script that we created last month that understands the server's IP address, the server's port, the hex code to send the server, wait for the reply, and then how to decode it. We figured all that out using combinations of Wireshark, ChatGPT, and Python. Now, let's copy this code, go to cod4 query servers, paste it, okay, and see what happens. So we'll do Python. Oh, shoot. Wow, did it just work? Cod4 table created. Okay, so now we'll do display query. I'll be darned. So this is close. Why, when I run this new version, the array is reading differently by 1? Is there some new language that you added that might change the... Oh, it's right. It appears that maybe I'm an index dependency on the Python PHP when splitting the server response. Let's... Okay, well, not what I asked. Oh, but this might work. Okay, let's find the description accurately. Okay, we'll give it a shot. Nope. But I might be able to edit this myself. So if 8, 6, 1612. Okay, called for, comfort dedicated, max current, max cargo ship, yes. Online, 0. We don't need the online portion. I think we need to nuke that section of the code, though, by hand. Alright, and we will rerun the scriptorino. There we go. Okay. Code 4. Cool. Now, what happens if we close the COD 4 server? Goodbye, COD 4. Let's run COD 4 offline. NA. Perfect. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. Now, let's run the COD 4 non-modded, no bots version of the game. So we'll go to desktop shortcut, and then Call of Duty 4, COD 4 no bots, which is the modless. We'll let it load. And we'll run COD 4 server query, and then we'll run display query. COD 4 LAN server dedicated, players current NA, max, shipment, deathmatch. It works. Cool. That's sick. So that's done. So with that in mind, we'll close it out. Close this. Don't need to save it. This works. This works. And we will relaunch the version of COD 4 we like to keep running, which is the one with bots. So people can play and pretend they have friends or practice. And that's that. So that's pretty much it. That's how I did the server statuses in PHP, which are the current ones, which we'll be replacing with these Python MySQL versions. That's also how we made the game launcher scripts for how I updated the batch files. Like here, it's resetting those batch files with that reset button I showed you earlier, and all with ChatGPT. So without it, none of this would have been able to be possible, or it would have taken me forever, and it wouldn't have been nearly as feature rich. So, anywho, I know it's a long one, and but if you like the nerdy nitty gritty, or if you're more interested in a copy of the LAN server stuff down below, hit us up on the Discord, and we'll see about releasing it to the public, or take a look at the event or venue that you want to run it at. And I'm not quite ready to release it publicly with the link, but we're getting close. So anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good one.